Five, four, three, two, one, and welcome again to the House of Horrors. Lakers humiliated 132 to 116. This time, the Blazers have or do the honors. I'm DH Groove, your sports guru, aka, and this is the Purple and Gold Report. Tape delayed. 1:10 a.m. on the East Coast. Well, please like, share, follow your boy, and all that good stuff. Oh, this ain't gonna be easy, folks. Big Bruce says he's ready to go. So as we usually do, let's go to the JJ Redick report, and that's my man Oscar Brown Jr. And he says, "Where are you, my brother? Where were you, Luca? Where were you, Ayton? Where were you, Jackson Hayes? All no shows. We give AR a pass. He has a significant injury, but those other three, not so much. All right, so let's pot that down and let's turn the screen and we give you what we call the JJ Redick report. And once again, like, share, follow your boy."
Some good things. We did a couple things defensively to try out. With Drew at the 5 and in a shock. We played more zone tonight. There was some really good stuff out of that. I thought our competitive spirit was really high, and had some guys that really stepped up. Starting with Maxey and Drew. I thought those guys were great. Smart was a warrior. DeBron, after a slow start, got it going, and Rudy made some shots. There's some good stuff to take away from tonight.
JJ, how have you managed, I guess, just for yourself, the trying to, like we just did, find positives out of the game when you don't have the mix that you're necessarily going to have in like a series?
Yeah, it's just you don't. Just talking about my coaching staff, we don't go into games thinking tonight's going to be rough or we can't win. Like we our belief level, expectations, the standards, they don't change. It's just this has been like the normal season, so it's not really like it's we've won some games. We've actually beaten a bunch of good teams. You play a team the second time around sometimes, and you rewatch the game, and you're like, oh shit, we didn't have Austin that game, or we didn't have Luka that game, or we didn't have Rui that game, or we didn't have Da that game. So this has just been our season, and look, every team's going through it. I'm not trying to say we're singled out, but this is just this has been our season. You get one guy healthy, and another guy gets injured. You get one guy back, another guy gets injured. Two guys go out tonight and play without your two centers. So it's been our season. Yeah, I believe knee or knee to quad. I'm not sure, but it was a collision.
Jake, his elbow was he okay?
Yeah, he's got that thing wrapped. I think he fell on it, but he was fine.
The goal to navigate an 82-game season is to try to stay level, right? Is sort of the idea. How difficult has that been, or has that been difficult for this team, considering the margin of defeat that is sort of existing whenever you guys have lost? It's been pretty lopsided.
Yeah, I think you can. I think it's normal to feel defeated in defeat. If that makes sense. When you lose by 16, but still I think had one double-digit loss or one single-digit loss. So yeah, But I do think that the job of the coach and the coaching staff and the leaders on the team, the players, it's all of our job to remain level-headed. And the natural highs and lows and peaks and valleys of the season, challenge you on that. And they, this season is felt, like a constant challenge.
After the Hornets loss, Marcus told us it was something that some of the guys have mentioned over the course of the year that we got to be the team to set the physicality from the opening tip, and that'll dictate the way the game is called the rest of the way. Do you think the free throw disparity in the first quarter was a result of that, or was it something else? Was it guys getting beat needed to?
I mean, there's always going to be fouls. It's you can sit there and go through and like watch every single. I do it sometimes. I will watch film and I'll watch a play and I'll wait a minute. Let me rewind that, zoom in, slow it down. And you're like, yeah, the officials don't have that luxury. So it's more about to your point, it's more about the way the game is called. They got off to a bad start tonight, and they admitted that to me. And then they kind of just like, we're all over the map. You're making calls, you're not actually making a call. That happened multiple times. Where we have to go over what's going on, like what's the actual call here. Couldn't get great communication from Pat all night, which we'll put in the coach's feedback. It was interesting. And so I think that's I talked about it. It's not to single them out, or it's not the reason we lost. It's just for whatever reason, you'd have to ask probably the other 29 coaches. It feels like the inconsistency night to night within a game has been there, for most of these groups.
Here's to the go-getters. It's not just the ones in the gym.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian. Welcome to
No, we don't want to listen to this guy. Here's LeBron James, folks.
Threshold of minutes that when you think about a team that kind of has to be whole, so you can really learn how to play together both ends of the courts, and obviously it hasn't been the chance to have that yet this season. But how much of a concern is it, and how do you try to keep making progress despite it?
You can go out with the unit that's available, try to execute, offensively and defensively, as well as you can, so you can ask for.
Anything tonight stand out to you on either end?
Well, offensively, pretty good. I thought defensively, we had some keys that we wanted to do. We wanted to, press up on them, but also keep guys in front of us, making sure we contested twos, making sure we contested threes off the dribble. And they nailed a lot of them. Although the whistle was very short in the first quarter, I think it was like maybe 17, 18, 20 free throws in the first quarter.
22 for that.
Yeah, it's hard to set your defense, with that type of situation. But give ourselves a chance a couple of times, but it was uphill battle.
Marcus, after the Hornets game, said we should be the team trying to set the tone for physicality early, and maybe that will carry on throughout the game. Do you think that the free throw disparity had anything to do with you guys trying to play more physical and then just the rest of
I thought every game should be a tone of physicality. I didn't think that we were doing something that was like outlandish or was warranted of certain calls or whatever the case may be. I thought we had bodies in front of guys, and it was just a couple calls that was difficult, but that's the game, and we're ready for more.
You mentioned just sort of some frustration with the night tonight and inconsistencies in officiating just out on the clock for the rest of it. I guess, how different is it the night tonight?
Yeah, every night is different.
You also mentioned that even though you guys were depleted, you guys still showed a bit of the spirit. Is that something that you want to make sure you guys carry that on, no matter who's out there playing?
I mean, we have to. At the end of the day, there's nobody's feeling sorry for us, and nor are we looking for it. So the guy that's available, we got to go out there and, like I said, play our game, play the way we want to play offensively and defensively, and just try to right the ship until we go.
How do you guys view scrap elements at this stage of the year with just kind of where you guys are at health-wise?
Score more points than our opponent. Make more shots than our opponent.
running in wall, roll skill, what do you like to turn two of those three? What does it mean that for you, for you, but see, I'm sorry, like sending out the other thing, kind of similar to what drive, who's for the game?
He's having a hell of a season. Should be an all-star. Obviously, his health is most important right now. Hopefully, he's not out too long, but he's playing great basketball.
You guys, obviously, got to try to stack wins as much as possible to get through this rough stretch. In the big picture, a night like Timmy had, where he got 29 points, can that help? You know, the 82-game plan to have a guy, put that under his belt, give him confidence, give him something to reference as the season goes on.
But we continue playing.
Fair point by LeBron James.
The Sonics.
All right, so we're going to pause that. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your sports guru, D.H. Grove. This is the Purple and Gold Report. Please like, share, follow your boy. We're going to be posting to YouTube and then over to Facebook. So after losses, we always come on the, I don't know if you want to call it tape delayed, but we don't go live. And so that's the way we're going to probably do it for the remainder of the season. I think it's better that way. A little bit more excitement when you win. You can probably share it with more people. And then when we lose, hey, the people that are loyalists, they'll find us, and the people who don't, well, that's up to them. We know we do a good job. We just brought you JJ Redick, as we always do, the JJ Redick Report. We try to bring it to you first and foremost, and then, LeBron James. I don't know who else we'll have as far as, let me cut this down. Let me mute it. I'll mute it first, and then I'll let it play out. And if I see some more interviews, I'll go to them. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So it's muted. And like I said, I'm not sure who you want to hear from. Usually, like in a situation like this, when you have three of your starters out, along with Rui under a minutes restriction, and then Jackson Hayes also out, so he's a rotation player. So slim picking, so to speak. But I'm going to talk about what I think, and but I'm going to get Big Bruce up. Let me see if I can call him now, and then we'll discuss it together, because I got a lot to say. So let's see if I can get my man Big Bruce up. Okay, so once again, we will hold the tape. Let's see if we can get Big Bruce.
Hey, my brother.
All right, I got you, Big Bruce. We're going, as we do normally on losses, we tape and post, and then wins, we go live. So tonight, obviously a difficult 132 to 116 loss. I got a lot to say. I'm sure you do too as well. So let's get right into it. So first of all, no Luka, no Ayton, no who else was in the starting lineup? There was somebody else was missing. Austin Reeves, that's 3. And then obviously you had no Jackson Hayes. The first thing that I want to say, and we're just going to get right into the nitty gritty. Both of us have been clamoring, but me more so than you, for to see this Drew Timme. I always thought that he was a pretty good college player. Oh, actually, he was a great college player. He wasn't a pretty good college player. He got Gonzaga at least to the either semifinals or the championship 1 or 2 times. So I always and then someone said something interesting a few minutes ago. You can't have enough smart players, and he plays the game smart. He plays the game the right way, and he hustles. And lo and behold, what did he do? Let's see. Drew Timme. He's all the way down here. 9 for 12 from the field, 3 for 4 from downtown, 21 points. Not a lot of rebounds, only 2 rebounds, but did give you 4 assists. So that's not a bad day at the office. 4 personal fouls. What did you think about Drew Timme?
Oh, I enjoyed the game. I watched it as well in college, and I've been live in the waiting on this JJ to give this man a chance. Give him a chance. He had no choice but to give him a chance tonight, because you had none of your big men available other than the other guy.
Maxi Kleber.
That's all he had. So I was glad that he was able to get a chance to play. Now JJ can see what the man can do against top competition. other than playing in the G League, when he get a chance to do that. But now he can see what he can do when he's playing against top tier players, and I think he's worth some minutes with the big team.
One thing I noticed, I kind of felt like, why would you start Maxi Kleber? Like, to me, the one thing I've always said, and I've said this for at least 10 years already, no, longer than 10, maybe 15 or 20 years. A coach has to do one thing. The first most important thing that a coach has to do, he has to get his players to play hard. If they don't play hard for you, then you're never going to be successful. The second thing a coach has to do, the most important thing, in my opinion, is he has to know who to put on the floor. So many times in my coaching career, and I've coached probably 500 games as either an assistant or a head coach in my career. And so many times guys did not know who to put in the game, and that cost them. JJ, once again, is starting to really show signs of, I wouldn't say not know what he's doing, but he's showing signs of inexperience. Number one, he played, as I said a minute ago, he played Maxi Kleber, who, let's face it, he didn't have a bad game either. 11 points, 4 for 8 from the field, did give you 5 rebounds. But to me, I would have played Drew Timme about 35 minutes, and then I would have played, Kleber the rest of it. I don't care if he's a veteran or not. I got to see this guy Timme play. They picked him up almost probably at least a month ago. And this is the first time he's gotten to the game that of significance. Any other time he's gotten in garbage time. He looked good in garbage time most of the time. But the Lakers, they're going to have to start really looking at Rob Pelinka. Because, look, I thought it was ridiculous. And I don't know how you felt. Once they traded Dalton Knecht to bring him back, I thought that was absurd. I knew that this whole thing with Mark Williams was a farce. I knew that the guy wasn't that, that injured. And even if he was injured, they could have brought him in and he would have got better. Okay, so it wasn't like, once you kick Dalton Knecht to the curb, I'm not saying he's soft or anything, but a lot of guys are going to be, lost in space, and that's what he is. He's basically lost in space. He just doesn't have the same. He had a swagger prior to the trade that he doesn't have anymore. So hey, and I hate Stephen A. Smith, but you know what? He said it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. It's a duck, and it's not a bleeping mongoose. And he didn't use that bleeping word. He used something else. And so, my thing is, I've never been a Rob Pelinka fan. I don't know how you feel. But even like today, we had this kid, Kobe Bumpkin, who played 22 minutes. Why? Because Nick Smith Jr., your guy, is lost in space too. He for 2 weeks now, he gets in the game, he can't hit a shot. He has no confidence. And the thing about Nick Smith Jr., the worst thing about Nick Smith Jr., he can't guard. He can't guard anybody. Now, I don't know what Kobe Bumpkin's, what his upside is, but I will say this. He can guard. He's an aggressive guard who can guard. Now, I don't know if he can shoot the ball at all, and I don't know anything about, what else his game, what's in his repertoire, so to speak. But if, it just kind of bothers me that this is always the case with the Lakers. I mean, you had this guy, Caleb Love. I don't even know where he was picked at, where he came from. This guy, let me just take a peek. And, so I don't talk out of turn. He's like a superstar. I mean, they had the guy last year. I can't think of his name. Another guy, Caleb Love. Well, let's see. He came from Arizona. Okay. Came from a pretty good organization or college. Let's see. I don't see where.
Yeah, I watched him. He played in the championship when he played when Arizona played the championship. He was doing his thing there.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember him, but thank you for informing me. Like I said, Arizona is not chopped liver, So okay, here is it. It doesn't. It says rookie. I'm trying to say it doesn't say he's 24 years old. I say okay, so he's an older player. Must with all the COVID and everything. So I guess he. Alexa, can you tell me where Caleb Love was drafted for the Portland Trailblazers, or was he a free agent acquisition?
Caleb Love wasn't drafted. He signed as a free agent with the Portland Trailblazers on a two-way contract after the 2025 NBA draft.
Thank you. So there you go. We get Kobe Bumpkin, and they get Caleb Love, who scored 20 something points last night, and that's what I'm talking about. One thing, and this is, I could actually do this right now. Not everybody is a good talent evaluator. And that's the problem with a lot of teams and a lot of organizations. They just do not evaluate talent that well. The Lakers are lousy. Rob Pelinka, his staff, they are lousy at talent evaluators. And that's just it. Okay, Alexa, we're doing the purple and gold. So Big Bruce is on. Let me get back to you, Alexa. Hold your horses, okay? Thank you, sweetie.
Go catch up with Big Bruce about that purple and gold action. I'll just be here practicing my talent evaluation skills.
Well, thank you so much. All right, Big Bruce back live with my man Big Bruce here. So that's one of the things. Now, another thing that I saw that boggled my mind, you had this Donovan Clingan who's, I don't know, he's a pretty tall kid. And I think he went to UConn, I think, if I remember correctly. He's 7'2", 280. So we really did, you always say that Jackson Hayes is too light in the behind, or on the Kiskas, as they like to say when I was a little kid. But, obviously, Drew, Timmy, and whoever else the Kleber kid, or man, excuse me, they were, a little bit smallish to put on him. The one thing I didn't even notice is like when Clingan got the ball, there was no double team. Like, I understand that you don't want to double team a guy like that a lot because, then you leave open shooters, basically you're at their mercy, so to speak. But at the same time, are you just going to let, Clingan just destroy you down low? I mean, LeBron James got called for a flagrant foul. I don't think I've ever seen him get called for a flagrant foul, maybe like one time in 23 years. And part of that reason is because he just got tired of the guy, just destroying us down low. So he had to do what he had to do. And I don't even know if it really should have been a flagrant foul. Maybe it was. He did hit him in the head, but, I'm not even sure about that. But I do feel like LeBron was like, hey, I got to be aggressive here. And that's not even something that LeBron, like I said, in his whole career, I don't remember him getting hit but with more than maybe one or two flagrant fouls, and that's in 23 seasons. So to speak to what I just talked about JJ kind of missing the boat.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. JJ is getting caught up in his own way. Those assistant coaches, they're probably having a hard time even trying to rectify things with him because he's so stuck in the way that he wants to do things. Why you even have assistant coaches if you can't put it all together and come up with an actual thing to do? JJ, to me, like I told you, to me, he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. That's the vibe that I get from him. I'm really falling out of contact with JJ. I'm really not liking what I see coming from him. And it's just simple coaching. I mean, he's not doing a good job. His rotation has fell off a long time ago, brother. A long time ago. And right now, you're in a position, well, the things that's going on with your team for his injury and, people missing a lot of time, you're in a position right now that you should just try any and every kind of combination to see what you got.
Yeah, well, I can't disagree.
It's long for him to put Timmy in to get some action. You know what I'm saying to you? It should never took this long. You should have been playing the young man so you can get acclimated with what's going on, the speed of the game, how things needs to be ran. You see the skill level. he's not above the rim type big man, but his skill set is pretty good for underneath the goal, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, hold up, Big Bruce. I'm gonna play. It's only 2 minutes. A little interview with post game with our man Drew Timme. Here we go. Let's see. Here's Drew.
It's coming quick. I think it was 13 fouls on you guys. Were you trying to establish a certain level of physicality, and how did you feel like that kind of that tone that you tried to set worked out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, that's the style that we want to play, just want to play more physical, harder, especially, on those square to reds and stuff, go screens, really control it, and, sometimes it's just the way the whistle goes, sometimes they let it go, so, it's just, I'm probably gotta get a better feel if they're gonna officiate it like they did, but gotta be able to adjust.
You told us on the pregame show just some of the things you've been working on and your game adapted to the NBA level, and you were able to showcase that tonight, and especially on offense. So where were you finding your shots, and how did you kind of get in that rhythm early?
I mean, it's easy when you play with guys that just get you the ball, like, in easy spots, wide open threes, Smart and Ron were just passing in the pocket, like, it was just easy, we were just playing basketball and it just happened to be who got the shots early, and it's great when guys like that, will give you the ball when you're open too, so, I mean, just great team basketball.
I hadn't really gotten big minutes like this in about 10 months probably since Brooklyn. Does it give you kind of any evidence in an NBA game? I mean, does it give you kind of any evidence of like your improvement as a player in that time to come out and have your NBA career high tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's great to see all the work you put in, and that's the beauty of the G League, Zach and them in South Bay, like, they push me, and that's why I keep my skills fine-tuned, and when or if I'm ever needed, I'm ready. And that's the beauty of the G League. It keeps me sharp, and, for moments like these, because you never know when the opportunity may or may not come, and you have to be ready. So, those guys help me a lot, and I'm just continuing to develop and do whatever's asked. That's part of the job.
So we actually have a little bit of conversation with Hansen Young on the court. Can you just share with us what did you say to him?
I played against him a little bit in the G this year, and I said I was just congratulating him. I saw he had a big game the other week or other day in the G, and I was like, just keep going. Like, he's a nice guy, he's a good kid, and he's a good dude. So you always want to see good people do well, and so I was just kind of congratulating them on the success.
Okay, that was Drew Timme, and well spoken. At least.
What did we do?
Hold on, let me cut that off. I see the interview with Maxi Kleber. I'm kind of like, not really wanting to hear from him right now because not to say that he's a bad person or even that he didn't give it all he had tonight, but I just think that there was no reason not to go to Drew Timme first, and JJ missed the boat on that. I think also what he missed the boat on is he probably should have had Rui back in the starting lineup, because Rui looked like he was kind of, rounding into form again. And unless you play him, and get him in the groove, he's not going to be able to get, where he was before. Because, at one time, he was playing great basketball. And now, coming back from his injury, he's been like MIA. And so I just feel like, the whole thing with Rui is just backwards right now. And that's once again, JJ not knowing who to play, which is the second most important thing that a coach has to do. So we can talk about everything else and the fact that we were down four really 3 starters and 1 rotation player, but the bottom line is the coach has got to help him out. And let me tell you another thing, Big Bruce. I don't care if I don't see Gabe Vincent the rest of the season. At this point, you got to get rid of Gabe Vincent. You got to get rid of Dalton Knecht, and as far as make up your mind on Kobe Bumpkin, make up your mind on Nick Smith Jr., even make up your mind a little bit on Bronny James, because at least Bronny James didn't get in and turn over the ball like Nick Smith Jr. I heard on the post game for the Lakers on ESPN LA 710, I think it's called. Shout out to those guys. Basically there was a turnover that Nick Smith made during the game that I kind of remember it and I kind of don't, because he's been so much a pain in my what that I'm just so turned off by his game. I'm turned off by him. Like I said, I always thought there was a reason why somebody on their rookie contract doesn't, the team doesn't even exercise their right on him, and they let him go for basically nothing. They cut him like you would cut a potato or something, with a potato peel. It's embarrassing, and it shows to me a lack of work ethic. That's what I think. Now I could be far off, but that's just my opinion. So go ahead, Big Bruce. The floor is yours.
Yeah, we have to do some serious changes, brother. That bench offers us nothing. Other than I really enjoy, like I said, Drew Timmy, Maxi Kleber doesn't offer us anything. We really have to do just what you said. So with Bronny and Nick and this other guy, I don't know much about him. We have to consider these things, man. They got a lot of ball players out there, I'm sure, could do a little bit better. But like you said, it goes back to our scouting team, and it goes back to our general manager there. He's awful. He's awful, man. This team.
And I'm just to cut you off briefly. Gabe Vincent in the last two games, 1 for 6 and 1 for 7. I mean, so that's 2 for 13 in the last two games. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. Sometimes guys just lose it all at once. I mean, I'm assuming that's the case with Gabe Vincent, because he can't play 2 good games in a row if his life depended on it. And tonight, he got 23 worthless minutes. If you hit 1 shot out of 6, you were basically a waste of time. 1 for 4 from downtown, 3 turnovers, 1 assist. I mean, what more do you have to see to know that you should go in a different direction? I would have played Kobe Buffkin, or I would have played Bronny James, or I would even and Dalton Connect. Once again, two or 3 games ago, he's in the rotation. We're gonna use him tonight. Out of the rotation. So is he in or is he out? Well, what's the story, JJ? Is he in or is he out?
That's what I'm saying. This games like this here, you should be trying to find some kind of combination. You should try to see who got what can offer to your team.
What did we do with our hand smash burger?
He just won't do it, man. He just won't do it. I wouldn't be surprised if JJ won't be the Lakers coach next year. It would not surprise me.
Well, you know what? At this point, I can't make a case for JJ, because I just don't think. Let's listen to Maxi Kleber for just a brief second. I just want to see what he has to say.
Okay.
Focus, offense, defense, and the starting role, and kind of playing with that new group, and where were the places that you emphasized the most?
Mostly just keeping it simple, trying to make the right plays. On offense, setting the good screens. On defense, trying to communicate, help out. So, keeping it simple overall.
Stay activated when you're not playing consistently, and you really get your chance for what you're trying to accomplish.
I don't really try to think about it very much, because at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? So you always have to be ready. You got to do your work, and we have a great coaching staff. We can simulate situations in practice, do it all the time. Just you are ready when your time comes. Obviously with so many players out today, you just want to make sure that you're ready and can step up. So I approach it the same way. Try to stay ready whenever I get a chance.
What have you seen in practice from Drew Timmy, and kind of what he was able to bring forth in the game today?
I mean, he's an amazing player, high IQ, makes great decisions, is very strong with the ball, crafty on offense, and also on defense today, switching up the different coverages that we had, just making a lot of right reads, just very, very solid player overall, both.
All right, so that's all I need to hear. Maxi Kleber, obviously a very intelligent person, speaks perfect English, and I'm pretty sure he's not even from the United States. Let me just double check. I don't want to speak out of turn.
But I got something I want to bring back to you.
Okay, he's from Germany. He's from Germany. So go ahead, Big Bruce.
Okay, you were speaking earlier about what kind of coach that basically every team needs. And JJ, to me, this is my personal thing. I think JJ lost the locker room, brother. I really don't feel that those guys want to play hard for JJ, because you can kind of see the language in their bodies. They just like, okay, if they score on us, oh well, take the ball out, let's go court. I don't see any, very few players you see with a little hustle bustle like Vando, and you see Marcus Smart, and I give LeBron his props. Like I said, the guy is 41 years old. He's not going to be able to run up and down the court all the time like he used to. I get that. Luka doesn't play hard. Luka's just an offensive show. Doesn't play any defense at all. Jacob Reggie is an up and down player. He only had 2 points tonight. Okay? I think
And you know what? I'll let you go on, Bruce. But he pissed me off. He had a wide open three and he shot an air ball. But go ahead.
Yeah. In certain games, he plays hard. His defensive end, I give him that some games. But his offensive end, he's not aggressive enough. Excuse me, standing at 6'7", 6'8", he's not aggressive enough. And back to JJ again, brother. I'm really getting into looking for his replacement because I really don't think JJ is going to be a Laker coach coming to this new owner. I think Magic is going to get involved. I've been listening and hearing some things. Magic and the new owner are real tight partners, and Magic Johnson know what it takes to be a Laker. And I'm telling you, brother, I'm not sure if JJ is going to be there. I have a perfect coach. A lot of people might not agree in Laker land, but this is just me. My opinion again, don't make me right. I like Malone that used to coach Denver. Okay? That's a guy I really like. I've watched him coach over the years. He played hard for him in Denver, and he did not take no stuff from nobody.
Okay, well, hold on. Bruce, let me give you a little pushback, as my nemesis Rob Parker would say. JJ, one of the things that I have noticed about JJ, and one of the things that I have noticed just in general from all my coaching days, is that very few coaches can yell and scream and get away with it. Me as a African American coach, I never could do it. I saw some guys that didn't look like me that were able to do it, and then the parents and stuff, it was okay by them. But even on this level, I think that JJ, as you said, he has to be careful with his browbeating because I didn't know the guy's name. I just looked him up. The color analyst tonight for the Portland Trailblazers, for whatever reason, I had that feed going, which sometimes, I don't know how they decide, but depending upon what TV I watch the game on, I really don't have much control over it. Well, his name is Lamar Hurd, and he said something very interesting because Lamar Hurd is the color analyst, and the play-by-play guy is a guy named Kevin Calabro. Now, he said this during the game. He said, quote-unquote, JJ, I wonder if he yells at Luka the way he's yelling at Marcus Smart right now. So there was a play where Marcus Smart, I don't know if you remember it, but I'm trying to kind of put it back in my head. Oh, I know what happened. Marcus Smart was supposed to step up, and it was like a give and go. And I believe somebody's man was screened, and Marcus just stood right there. He didn't, make any effort to go towards the man that rolled to the hole and then got an easy layup. And so JJ was irate about that. Now, I couldn't hear what JJ said, but obviously Lamar heard. I think did I say his name right? Let me just double check. Yeah, Lamar Hurd. He heard it, and that was his comment on live television. Now, the the other cat, the Calabrio, I believe his name was. Let me see. Kevin Calabro. I may be screwing up his last name. My apology to you, Mr. Calabro. He, an older gentleman, I could tell. He said, well, he kind of cleaned it up in this way. He said, well, you know what? When you're scoring 40 something points a game, you get a little bit more leeway, which is true, which is true. But I thought what he was trying to do was cover for his partner. Like he didn't want him because a lot of times these guys take heat for any little thing they say. Everything is scrutinized, like everything is overanalyzed, and that's what I thought was what was going on, and I agree and I disagree in some ways because I do think that if you want to make a point as a coach, you have to attack your best player and just like you attack your worst player. So you can't give Luka a pass, but I do also understand that Luka has a longer leash than say Marcus Smart. So even though I agreed, but I disagreed in some ways as well. But I kind of it was a very dynamic, sort of interesting point that they were making on the air on as the game was going on. So what do you think about that? Do you think is that part of the reason why you think a guy because I'm just going to be honest, I don't think you get a lot out of your players when you yell and scream at them. I think that coaching has to be done to the point where, yes, you can yell and scream, but only like in extreme moments. You can't yell and scream 24/7, 365. These guys are professional athletes. They're humans. I mean, and I'm talking about from 13-year-old girls to 15-year-old boys. You really have to watch how you talk to people and pick your spots when you choose to, I don't know if you want to call it discipline, but when you choose to browbeat certain players, because today you will lose players faster than you will gain their respect. The floor is yours, Big Bruce.
Okay, well, I agree with you on the leash that a player like Luka do have versus Marcus Smart, but at the same time, coaches like Malone, and I'm going to say, who else can I say put in that category?
Well, let me just say this, Bruce, and you can continue. You do realize that Mike Malone, I believe that's his first name, he lost the locker room, and that's why they fired him. They felt that he was too hard on the players. So do you think that would be I'm just telling you, I don't know that that's a good move to bring him to the Lakers because I don't know if his style works. He did win a championship, but, did he win a championship or was it more the Joker winning the championship? The floor is yours.
I'm gonna go half and half because I really think the man's a real good coach. I really think they played hard for him. Denver was a team that was knocking everybody down and knocking everybody off when Malone was the coach in there. It's only maybe his last year of coaching, that things look like it fell apart. Okay, I can say that. But before that was a dominating team that was playing hard and doing everything that needed to be done to win championships like they did. So,
hold up, Big Bruce. Excuse me. They didn't win championship. They won one championship.
Well, okay, championship. Okay, but I just thought that from what I saw, I just thought they played hard for the man. I thought I think he's a real good coach, and I think he's a coach that's not gonna just let you just do what you want to do. Now, Luka is, to me, Luka is a cancer. I hate to say that, but Luka's a cancer. Luka is a problem. Okay, I'm not impressed with Luka all the way. To be honest with you, brother, he's more detrimental than anything, as far as I'm concerned. He's in on the one end of the court, the other end he's not all in, and he just fighting with the officials. It's just getting out of hand. You know, a lot of times we play 5-on-4. They show last night, they show the highlights. At least 3 or 4 different times, he's joined down with the receivers, with the officials, with the referees, turning all the way around to talk to the referees, and the play's going on. And I mean, it's just, that's unbearable, brother. Basketball is 5-on-5. Luka puts it at a disadvantage a lot of the times, brother. That's got to stop. Now, I don't know what's going to be done about that, or who's going to do anything about it. Excuse me, but something has to be done. You don't get the call, play on. But we need you on the other end of the court as well. You already don't play good defense, but at least if you're there in body, okay, that at least can kind of help us.
Well, so I'm just going to be honest with you, Big Bruce. The only way that that's going to happen is if JJ Redick embarrasses him. And I don't know if in this day and age, that's something as a coach you want to take the chance to do. So I'm just going to put that on the table. Let me just go quickly. I'm looking at the plus minus. I just want to go over quickly. So Kleber had 11. Marcus Smart had 25. Now he got hurt. I'm not sure what the extent of his injury is, but I don't think there's any way he's playing in a back-to-back game after that. The way he went off the court. Vincent, we already spoke about him. Rui was 4 for 7 with 11 points. Jared Vanderbilt 3 for 3. He didn't take any outside shots, so we're kind of monitoring that. Drew Timmy 3 for 4 from downtown. 9 for 12, 21 points, 9 for 12 from the field, that is. And then nobody else really. Kobe Bunkin was 3 for 8. So like I said, the thing about Kobe, he did score 9 points. He seems like he competes on the defensive end, something Nick Smith Jr. doesn't do. I just think that, right now I'm playing him over Nick Smith Jr. Or Dalton Knecht. I did speak on, like I said, I think that at this point you gotta make a trade. I saw a good trade with Sacramento. I can't think of the 2 players that they would get, but it's certainly right now you're playing left-handed. In other words, you're playing with guys who are not a factor that you can't really even put in a game. Let me go through the scores, and then we'll continue our conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Purple and Gold Report. Me and my main man, Big Bruce, going back and forth. Big Bruce and me, kind of disagreeing tonight, but that's okay. We don't have to, great minds don't always have to agree. And I like the back and forth when say my partner doesn't always agree with me. I don't like Mike Malone. What I thought he did was a lot of tweaking the Lakers and tweaking teams and making comments. And to me, good coaches don't do that. Like even, we've had a lot of football talk on this basketball show. And Sean Payton. Hey, look, they won today, but they lost they may have won the battle and lost the war because they lost their quarterback, Bo Nix, I think is his name, for the entire rest of the playoffs. I believe he broke his ankle. And you know what? It couldn't happen to a better guy. What's his name? Sean Payton, we all know is well documented, his nastiness towards Russell Wilson. And then last week, there was somebody who was, I guess a former player. He basically said on the interview, the post-game interview, hey, you played all of 136 minutes or something very disparaging about the person who was asking the question, almost implying that you can't ask the question because you didn't play enough. Well, last time I checked, Sean, you didn't play either. Okay, I don't remember Sean Payton playing in the NFL. Okay, and I don't remember half of the guys that do play-by-play. The great Marv Albert, Al Michaels. None of those guys played, and they seem to be able to judge basketball or football or whatever sport they're doing at the time. So, my whole thing is, I just, certain coaches, I just think that, they rub you the wrong way, and if you have that weak character like a guy like Sean Payton, if you have that weak character like a Michael Malone, I just don't think your long-term success is going to be great in the NBA. And so we'll see. What happens in terms of will they hire a guy like that? I hope not, Big Bruce. Hey, you can hope all you want, and who knows? You might be right, and I might be wrong. So let me get to the scores. The Mavericks 138, the Jazz 120, the Celtics win 132 to 106 over the Hawks. Pistons 121, Pacers 78. The Suns beat the Knicks. I watched a lot of that game, and the Knicks were just awful. 106 to 99. There's a guy named Chris Perez who does with your boy Antonio Daniels does a NBA show. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but he's always killing the Lakers. But he's supposedly this Knick fan who thinks that fans should get a rebate when guys don't play, because of load management and stuff like that, man. Let me tell you something, man. If you don't, and his whole spiel this week was, little Johnny, I have to explain. Let me tell you, the bleep with little Johnny and the bleep with little whoever, I don't care what race you are, what color, what nationality, that's life, my man. That's life. You go to the game, you know that some of these guys will not play in the game sometimes if you buy the tickets. So it's not like you can sit up there and be like so shocked if a guy doesn't play, like tonight, a Luka doesn't play. It is what it is. And coddling these kids and, making them feel like, oh, God, the world's coming to an end. That's why so many kids suffer from mental health today, because too many parents are coddling and trying to do and give their kids the red carpet instead of letting them earn stuff and also letting them feel stuff, because life is not always going to be perfect. So that's my public service announcement, and I'll leave it at that. Let me go back to the scores. My screen got changed for a second. The Thunder lose a tough one to the Heat, 122 to 120. The Timberwolves lose again. They lost last night and they lost tonight. So like I said, when we go over the standings, it's all bunched up, man. The Spurs 126, the Timberwolves 123. Anthony Edwards didn't play last night. I think he scored I don't know if it was a career high, but I know he had like 50-something points. So kudos to him. 55, a double nickel. And the Warriors 136, the Hornets, who killed us the other night, 116. So, I guess they came back down to earth. The Nuggets 121 to 115 over the Wizards. And last but not least, I believe, is this the last score? Yeah, the Lakers losers big time to the Trailblazers, 132 to 116. Let's go quickly to the standings, and we will skip over the Eastern Conference. But we once again, that 72 and 9 or whatever the hell it is, that's a pipe dream. Oklahoma City has 8 losses already, and the season is for them is almost exactly at the midway point, because 35-8 gives you 43, I believe, right? So 41 is the midway point, right? Yeah, 41 and 41 is 82. So they already got 8 losses. They're only going to lose one more game the rest of the season. I heard somebody say that the other day. I was like, that's a pipe dream. That's not happening. Get over that. The Spurs 29 and 13, followed by the Nuggets 20. So they're tied, the same exact record, the Denver Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs. But now from 4 to damn near 8 or 9 is all bunched up. You got Minnesota with 16 losses, 27 and 16. Houston with 15 losses, 24 and 15. The Lakers with 16 losses, 24 and 16. And then that's the last of the automatic bids, the number 6 seed. And then you have Phoenix, who's right behind us at 25 and 17. So the Lakers only 5 percentage points ahead of the Phoenix Suns, or they be in a play-in. Golden State, 24-19, followed by Portland, who beat us tonight, 21-22, trying to get to 500. They play Sacramento tomorrow night, whom Sacramento's actually played better as of late. Then to follow, the last team is the 10th spot, and that's the Clippers, and they're at 18 and 23. So there you have the scores, and there you have the standings. Big Bruce, tell me, tomorrow we got Toronto, who lost a heartbreaker the other night, to the Clippers, I believe. So what do you think about tomorrow night's game? First of all, we don't know who's going to play, but give me your opinion.
That's where I was getting ready to go. Depends on what we have to put out on the court, brother. It's going to be a tough game. Like you say, no matter what, everybody plays their A game when they play the Lakers. When you know Lakers coming to town, everybody wants to play. I'm gonna put the A game on. So it depends on what JJ is gonna put out on court tomorrow. Our chances is gonna be just what they are. We have to just play by game. There was a time that we were able to pick our victories, but now we just have to let the games play. And that's where I'm at.
Okay, one thing I'll say is I don't know, just like you don't know, just like probably the only person knows is God, who's going to play tomorrow. But I'll tell you, I'm getting a little sick of this Jackson Hayes. He's never available. Ayton, he's never available. These are guys that are in prime of their career and they're never available. I don't know if LeBron's going to play tomorrow. I know if he can, he'll go. And that's another thing about the greatness of LeBron James. So, but I'm not even going to go there tonight. My thing is I'm going to make a statement right now. If I don't see Drew Timme in that daggone game tomorrow, you know what? I'm going to call for JJ to get fired. So you'll have two on that bandwagon because there's no way in heck that Maxi Kleber should get more minutes. As intelligent as he sound, like I said, he's from Germany, speaks English just as good as me or you. The bottom line is you got to try to get a spark from somewhere. And I believe Rui should be into the starting lineup tomorrow. And, I don't know what this, now I do know he's on a minutes restriction, but you know what? Even if you just play him the first 5 minutes and then take him out, do that. Stop with this. First of all, your rotation sucks anyway, JJ. Your rotation sucks. Okay? So that's the first thing. But, I want to see Timme and I want to see Rui tomorrow. Now wait a minute. I will say this. Rui might not even play in a back-to-back. I think from what I heard before, he can't play in back-to-back. So right off the back, he's probably going to be out tomorrow. So on that, I'm probably barking up a I don't know what kind of tree. But the bottom line is I gotta see Timme and I gotta see the Bumpkin kid. I think that's how you say his name, Bumpkin. And then I got Kobe. I think is his first name, right? So that part I can't screw up. And hey, let's just hope LeBron could play. Toronto, they're coming, the teams that fly out to the West Coast obviously from Canada, they may not have their legs tomorrow. Hey, the Lakers, as LeBron said, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. Be there or be square. But the bottom line is, hey, you know what? Play the right guys. Play the right guys, JJ, or else.
What kind of injury did Luka suffer from?
Luka has a groin aggravation, and if you tear that or if you strain that, that's a 4 to 6 week injury. So they're going to be careful with that. So I don't know that you're going to see Luka tomorrow. If I had to, I'm not a betting man. I'm not. But if I was, I would say no Luka tomorrow. But then again, it could be. They were holding guys out for the back-to-backs. And I'll tell you, it is hard. And now, like I said, I'm not a big Chris Perez fan who I think it's called a give and go with your man, what's his name? Antonio Daniels and Chris Perez. And, one of the things I noticed about a lot of the guys that do shows, they're so negative on everything. So I just don't ever want to be like them. But I'll tell you, I watch these Lakers every game, and right now I am a little negative on JJ Redick because I see things as a former coach that he could be doing better. And like I said, the inconsistency of who you yell at and who you don't yell at, that's a problem. Not knowing who to play at the right times, that's a problem. Basically, I don't know how, they allow a guy like Clingan to not be double teamed when your next closest player to height to him is got a 5 or 6 inch difference in height. So you got to double team when he gets the ball or on the blocks. You have to double team him. There's no way that you could just let him just go over people and just dunk all the time. So, like I said, I don't want to be negative Nelly. I know I sure probably sound like it, but Bruce, you can have the last word.
Well, you had that right, brother. You know, you're a Laker fan. You love them just like I do. You know, and we trying to see what we see. And we're better people to criticize the team other than the fan himself, putting the time and the support that we do. You try to see what you see. Like I said, we lose. Let's lose with team. You're going to lose. You're not going to win them all. You know, but you want to at least be in the ballpark when you're in these games. We're getting killed double digits is just our name right now. We're getting smoked by double digits every time you look around. You know, we don't have any close losses. We're getting smoked. We're getting smoked. This is very embarrassing to even be a Lakers fan right about now, man. I'm not used to this. I'm really not, and I'm sure you're not. You know, this is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking. So, with that being said, brother, I'm just going to go on and be there, be square tomorrow, and let's hope for the best.
All right, Big Bruce, thanks a million for coming on. Thanks for not, throwing me underneath the bus. I know I was a little out of control tonight, but I appreciate it. All right, I'll talk to you later. That was Big Bruce, folks. Talk to you later, Big Bruce.
Okay, have a good one, brother.
All right, folks. So Big Bruce trying to get me off the ledge, I guess, so to speak. And, I don't know what to say. I know I usually am a little bit more the voice of reason, but I tell you, it really hurt me to see the Lakers make so many mistakes tonight. JJ Redick makes so many mistakes. The players, some of them just acting like they don't have a clue. I mean, I want to see players that are willing to go out there and hustle, like a Drew Timme. Give me 5 Drew Timmes instead of giving me a guy like Nick Smith Jr. who doesn't know his A from his elbow. All right. So here's my man Oscar Brown Jr. And look, we gave you a little bit of Drew Timme. We gave you Maxi Kleber. We gave you LeBron James. We gave you JJ Redick. And now we say good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Be there, be square. And here's my man. We'll give you one more guy. This is Oscar Brown Jr. And where are you, Lakers? Luka, where are you? Where are you, Dalton Connect? Where are you, Ayton? Where are you, Jackson Hayes? I'm a man possessed right now, folks. 2:10 a.m. and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless.